5. Let's update you now on the latest on the various strikes, with teachers now set to strike over pay for England and Wales. The National Education Union announcing 7 dates. National strikes on the 1st of Feb, then the 15th and 16th of March. Meanwhile, Downing Street saying that the widespread strikes on February the 1st, including, of course, a rail strike, ASLEF, the drivers coming out, will likely cause significant disruption for the public. Those train drivers and 1,000 or 100,000 rather civil servants all stopping work. But let's get more with our national reporter Ellie Costello now, who's outside the National Education Union headquarters in London. And Ellie, you were talking to the union a little later, and clearly they are frustrated, as so many of the others in the public sector, about the failure of the government to come to terms with what they say is needed for a pay deal.
Yes, exactly, Mark. Good afternoon to you. And it became quite clear, speaking to the NEU earlier on, that this isn't just about pay. They had a 5% pay rise in 2022. This is also about recruitment of teachers and about retention of teachers. And there is a worry amongst the union that if things don't change, that there will be a big issue coming down the road with the recruitment and retainment of teachers. That's one of the reasons why they have voted for this strike action. 90% of teacher members in England and Wales said yes to strike action, but only a 53% turnout. I put that to Kevin Courtney, who is the Joint General Secretary of the NEU, and I put that point that this is only a narrow margin for their right to strike. This is what he told me.
This is a simply overwhelming endorsement of our campaign. It's the biggest result by any trades union since the government brought in this law about thresholds. The government is making a really big mistake if they think this isn't well supported. It's massively supported by our members. And the reason that teachers are supporting this sort of campaign is that they know there's a crisis in our schools. We put out some figures today. Over a quarter of physics lessons are being taught by somebody who doesn't have a degree or a postgraduate qualification in physics, a PGC in physics. 1 in 6 chemistry lessons, almost a half of computing lessons, 20% of D&T lessons, 10% of geography lessons, 10% of maths teachers. There's a real crisis in our schools because we can't recruit and then keep teachers in our schools, and pay is part of the answer to that.
Well, will schools close? Well, inevitably some will. It will depend, of course, on how many teachers in that school have decided to go out on strike. There will be a focus by head teachers to try and get volunteers and supply teachers in to keep classes going, but some students will inevitably have to go back to being homeschooled. But the difference, Mark, between what we saw in the pandemic with children being homeschooled and the teachers' strike that we're talking about now is that teachers do not have a responsibility on a strike day to set work for their pupils. So it could mean that we're seeing parents taking annual leave and having to teach their children with resources at home. Could be quite a challenge for those parents. And there's also pupils that will be rightly concerned about their upcoming exam season in May, their results coming up later on in the summer in August, and they will be concerned about what this latest disruption means for their education.
Indeed, with Gillian Keegan, of course, the Education Secretary, saying she can't guarantee that all those schools will stay open. A worrying time for the children and, of course, their parents. But, Ellie, thank you for updating us there, and we'll see how those various discussions continue and if they come to a settlement. Thank you very much.